circuit, you like semi-skimmed, a little bit warm, lots of it. Lots and lots of milk, as much milk as possible. So let's milk this applause, let's start it up at the front row, keep it nice and loud. Oh, hello. Hi, my name is Rhodders. It's not really. That'd be a stupid thing to put on a birth certificate, wouldn't it? My real name is Rodri Buttrick. And before you ask, no, I don't. Good, glad we got that one out of the way. Now, most comedians, they like to judge a gig by how many laughs they get, how well they get across with the audience. I like to judge a gig on how much it costs me to get there on the train. The other night I had an absolute stormer. I performed in front of a drunk and a cat. Didn't even have to leave my house. I do like this big mirror. It's very nice. One way to double the audience, I guess. Very, very nice. Now, 3 years ago, I graduated from university, and people said to me, "Welcome to the real world," which, let's face it, is rather a confusing and insensitive thing to say to a philosophy grad. Admittedly, thank you. Comedy critic in the fourth row. Whatever happens, putting your hand up, sir, but thank you. I shouldn't go after people who are approving of me. It's probably why I'm not going to get very far in life. Oh, you've got the job. Fuck off! Admittedly, philosophy is not the most practical of subjects. This morning I was hungry, so I thought I'd make some toast. But at what point does bread become toast? I mean, a paradox is not the most nutritious of breakfast, I'll tell you that. I mean, it's moments like that that make me think, oh, hell, maybe I shouldn't have studied philosophy. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to university at all. I mean, ignorance is bliss. But what if you don't know that? The worst thing, though, about studying philosophy at university was the science students. I'd be in my seminar room doing my metaphysics. They'd be across the road in their laboratory doing their physics, or as they called it, better physics. I did manage to get a job. Quietest Oxford has ever been. No one believes me, do they? It's like, even at night, which essentially people lying in order to make you lot laugh, it doesn't get believed, even within the confines of fiction. The job was in Sports Direct. Now you believe me. Yeah. Sports Direct, if you've never been there, it's like the black hole of Calcutta. Meets the prison they slung Batman in. Meets Umbro. Hell on earth, essentially. Now, I'm very, very glad I studied philosophy. Particularly the ancient Greek module, because there are some shockingly obvious parallels between the world of Sports Direct and the world of ancient Greek mythology. You might have to bear with me just a tiny bit here, people. In ancient Greek mythology, King Sisyphus, a mere mortal, royally pissed off Zeus, the king of the gods. In a similar vein, I invoke the wrath of Liam, the manager. To be fair, in hindsight, I do sympathise with Liam. I was a jerk. I'd turn up to my shift and he'd say, "Why are you late? Why are you late?" And I'd say, "Don't worry about it, man. Time's an abstract concept." In his Sports Direct management handbook, that's down as being a dick. When Sisyphus, a mere mortal, royally pissed off Zeus, the king of the gods, the one guy you don't want to annoy, Zeus condemned him to a dreadful fate, to push a boulder up a mountain only to have it roll down again for all eternity. In a similar vein, Liam, the manager, told me to tidy the shop floor of Sports Direct. Dreadful. I actually kind of regret that I didn't study history. I don't know much about history and I really wish I did. My head is full of questions such as, oh, I wonder how they dealt with creases before the Iron Age. Oh, I wonder how Queen Victoria survived without Wi-Fi. She didn't, she died. A lot of people I know that are into history often say, oh, history repeats itself. I know enough about history to know that that isn't the case. Similar things happen, but it's never exactly the same. In fact, the only thing in history that repeats itself is people saying, history repeats itself. Stay! Now, I think we've all had enough fun tonight. And I want to talk. I can read minds. I did hear someone think, I'll be the judge of that. I want to talk about something a bit more serious. I want to talk about extremism. Because I think it's a very important topic that we need to face up to. And it's a very trendy topic. So I'm going to talk about it. I want to talk about an evil organisation with a short, catchy acronym. I am, of course, talking about CAMRA, the Campaign for Real Ale. Now, don't worry, I'm not having a go at all real ale drinkers. Some of my best friends are real ale drinkers. But there's no denying there is definitely an extremist streak in the real ale community. I mean, I can prove it. They've all got beards. There is slightly more to my argument than that, of course. Lager, of course, they think is for the infidel. They tend to favour a real ale, usually called something stupid like Hoppington Bear. And it's priced between £7 and £10 a pint. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, these extremists are radicalising our pubs. They are throwing out the good old British dartboard and pool table and filling the pubs full of trendy knickknacks. You know, the sort of places that serve cocktails in teapots. We all know that this is morally wrong. I mean, I have a lot of arguments with my liberal friends about this. They say, oh, who cares, man? Cups, pitchers, teapots, they're all just vessels, aren't they? Oh, sure, why not? Let's go mad, shall we? Let's drink coffee out of egg cups, shall we? Let's then eat the eggs out of the coffee cups, then, shall we? I mean, what these people fail to realise is that they are on a very, very slippery slope and are one step away from putting their grandmother's ashes in a condom! Okay, I might have misjudged the mood of the room here and gone a bit too far. All I'm saying is that they're called teapots. On average, I have this argument 3 times a week with the remainder of my friends. And they always say, isn't there anything more important to get upset about? They've got terrible scoliosis, all of them. Isn't there anything more important to be concerned about? Well, yeah, of course there is, of course, but that's a rubbish argument. I mean, that starts saying, well, here's a bad thing, and here's a very bad thing. And because of the very bad thing, you can't do anything about the bad thing. I do hope you're following this, madam. I mean, it is exactly like going up to a starving person and saying, look here, mate, I don't know what you're complaining about. Somewhere out there in the world, there's someone who's not only starving, but they're starving and on fire. Oh, well, I didn't think of it like that. I do hope I haven't come across as ungrateful. But, or maybe you should just bloody well think a bit more, shouldn't you? Admittedly, that is the last sort of accent a starving person is likely to have. Now back to my other brilliantly constructed argument. Give me a break, I went to Reading, Oxford. Back to my other brilliantly constructed argument. I think you'll all agree that it's about time that we stood up to these extremists and said, no, enough is enough. You can have your real ale, but we want our lager. Yes, it might taste and look like it's been fished out of a block urinal, but it's our urinal, and it's our way of life. And don't you forget that on the end of that pint glass, regardless of the type of beer, is a human being, and we are all one and the same. As for non-drinkers, I don't trust them, they should all be shot. Now, most people, because normally episodes like that, think I'm strange. I'm not strange, they're wrong, and I can prove it. It's the world that's strange. I mean, we live in a world where a watched pot never boils, yet we're told not to leave cooking unattended. I will leave you on this. I can read minds, you know. Did I do the one about the owl from Mandaloo? No, I did. You got a really big laugh, thanks. My name is Rhodders. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Louis, how did you feel about the beer stuff? Camera, your cameraman? You drink a bit of it? Interesting. Like you, Louis. Very, very, very lovely, very, very lovely. Do you ever drink